2025 we came across this news that India releases compilation of 10,000 human genomes. Or let's say if you want to address all the gene present in elephant, then you can simply say elephant genome, or you can say mosquito genome. Our government wanted to study DNA of Indian population, right? And it was not for the first time. In a computer system, a scientist can look into this particular information to know a lot, many things about it. Other country of the world has done it, then why there is a need that India should do it? I'll tell you one thing. IITs were there, AIMS was there, but IISC was playing important role. Hello and how are you? My name is Ritesh R. Jaiswal and I'm back with a new video. And this is an important topic of biotechnology that is going to help you in prelims examination. So as I shared in my last video that I'll be coming with small topics which are important for prelims point of view from all across science and technology, and I'll share with you. So you can see the topic is Genome India project, right? And Genome India project is very important because, in 2025 we came across this news that India releases compilation of 10,000 human genomes from 83 population group. Now there is one thing that you should be knowing, that what is human genome? First of all, what is human genome? So human genome means all the genes present in human. Together it will be known as genome. So gene is singular, genome is plural. Rather than saying the number of genes that is present in any organism, we simply say genome. Let's say if you want to address all the genes present in human body or human cell, then you can simply say human genome. Or let's say if you want to address all the gene present in elephant, then you can simply say elephant genome. Or you can say mosquito genome. You can say rice genome. You can say wheat genome, right? So genome is a kind of all the genes present in any organism. And then you know that India wanted to study, our government wanted to study DNA of Indian population, right? And it was not for the first time. In the world, study of DNA has been done, right? It has been done many a time. And you know that DNA is our blueprint. DNA is our blueprint. Whatever character we have in my body, whatever character you have in your body, it is written onto the DNA. Even if we are going through some kind of disease, some kind of genetic aberration, then it is written onto the DNA, right? So DNA information can be very, very useful. And this DNA information can give you a lot of insight about our demography, our population, different ethnic group that is present in India, and it can tell us a lot about the health conditions, the way to tackle a particular disease, to find out the reason behind a particular disease prevailing in a particular group, and then for that we need to study the DNA. Now you know one thing, that DNA is like this, and DNA is a double helical structure and it is like this. And you also know that in this double helical structure, we find base pair, adenine, thymine and guanine, triple bond, cytosine. So these are the base pairs which are present across this DNA. So when I say that you are going to sequence the DNA, it doesn't mean anything. It simply means one thing, that whatever is written on the DNA, we are going to sequence and read that, right? So what we do DNA sequencing, or we do DNA mapping. You get the point? And that is called genome project. So in any genome project, what we do, that we take out human genome from the cell of the human body, and then we take the DNA out, and then we decipher, we learn, we just read all the informations written onto the DNA, and then once this information are read, it is compiled into the computer system, and in a computer system, a scientist can look into this particular information to know a lot, many things about it. I can show you. This is what the genome sequencing is. So you take this DNA, you cut a part of it, right? You make it, single helix structure, and you make many pieces, and each pieces will be taken by a group of scientists, and then they will read all the information written over there. And informations are in the form of nitrogenous bases, adenine, guanine, cytosine and thymine. And then It's a process by which you read it, and after reading it, you just store this information into computer. Here you need to understand one thing, that when you read it, when you are going to read that, when you're going to read it, so reading, let's say I'm writing reading information or base pair sequence, base pair sequence on DNA, right? And the process is known as sequence annotation. What we call it? Sequence annotation. So sequence annotation is that process. The process is sequence annotation. You got the point? And when you put it inside, when you put this inside a computer, so transfer of this DNA information into computer. So transfer of DNA information in computer, that will come under something called bioinformatics. Bioinformatics. It's a very upcoming area, technically challenging job, but we have done it. So what you do DNA sequencing, genome sequencing, and you read all the information with the help of sequence annotation. And once you get all this information in the form of adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine, then you transfer it to a computing system, probably supercomputer, and then it is called bioinformatics. You get the point? So India wanted to do it for Indian population. Why India wanted to do it? If other country of the world has done it, then why there is a need that India should do it? I'll tell you one thing. You know that first genome project, first human genome mission, our project was called HGP. It was HGP. It was called Human Genome Project. Right? And this Human Genome Project was from 1990 to 2003. And it was done by USA. Other country also helped in. And in this first Human Genome Project, USA collected thousands of samples across the world, and then they sequenced it. They collected all the information and they put it inside the computing system. And then this information is available to everyone, every researcher across the world who want to look into the human genome data. They can decipher, they can find out lots of things which are of the research purpose. And in India, ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, it received this data from Human Genome Project of America. But then we realized one thing, that Indian participation in this Human Genome Project is too less. This data is not for Indian population because we have diverse ethnic group in our big country, right? And for that, we cannot rely on to Human Genome Project, which has got lots of data across the world. So we need to zero down. We need to, decrease the funnel, and then we need to keep it targeted towards Indian population. And then we thought that let's go for GIP. Let's go for GIP, Genome India Project. And Genome India Project means we collected 20,000 samples from all across India, from 83 different groups, and out of 20,000, 10,000 DNA sample was sent to the lab where genome sequencing was done with the help of sequence annotation and bioinformatics. And then when we compiled all this data together, then this data was stored in Indian Biological Data Center, Faridabad. So project is done, data has been collected, and once the data has been collected, then it was stored here. So now I can get into the nuances of it. So Genome India project, right? And here you can say launched in January 2020. Objectives or aim was to enable a deeper understanding of India's genetic diversity. India's genetic diversity. You get the point? Capture India's unique genetic diversity. And that was not possible when we are studying result of international human genome projects or American human genome project, because we need to zero down on Indian population, right? And then to create reference of Indian population's genetic makeup so that this reference can be used by different researchers in terms of disease, their diagnosis, their treatment, and all kind of thing. And obviously, this project was spearheaded by DBT, Department of Biotechnology, under Ministry of Science and Technology, and IISC, Indian Institute of Science, right? That played very important role. IITs were there, AIMS was there, but IISC was playing important role, and 20 more institutions were involved into it. So it take a lot of time. We take 2020, we started. In 2025, our data collection was done, and then Indian Prime Minister in January 2025 announced that all the data compiled through Genome India project is now available at Indian Biological Data Center, which is there in Faridabad, Haryana. So here you can see all this data of 10,000. So 10,000, I can write it over here, 10,000 Indians genomic data is now stored over here. It is stored over here. It is stored over here. Where? It is stored at Indian Biological Data Center, IBDC, and this is at Faridabad, and this is National Repository of Biological Data. So we have kept it over here. This is the premise you can see, and this data will be available to all the researchers across the world who want to do research on Indian population genetic diversity. That's the significance of the entire thing, right? Now, let's move on to another part. What are the key significances of this GIP? So first thing that you can talk about here, I can mark precision medicine, very important thing, and personalized treatment. Once you know the genetic diversity of Indian population across the different ethnic group, then you can develop tailor drugs, custom drugs according to genetic profiles, and it will improve the effectiveness of the treatment, and it will also decrease the side effect. Second one, disease understanding and diagnosis, because obviously India is turning into diabetic capital. We are having a lot of heart disease, disorders are there. So all these things would be understood to the level of DNA and genetics, that why we are suffering, what we can do that this suffering can be minimized, what kind of diagnosis should be done, how can we stop it. So all kind of thing can be done. Then India specific reference. Now our reference is there, our data is there, because in global data we were underrepresented, right? But now we have our own data. So any researcher wants to work on this, they will having all information about genetic diversity of Indian population, and that's good one. Public health, it will help in understanding the risk of infectious disease or any kind of resistance in different kind of variants of the pathogen, right? The medicine which are not working on them, epidemics and its dynamics. Are we ready to tackle on this epidemics? How humans or Indians immunity system is going to give response against any epidemic, that we are going to discuss. In long run, it will also bring affordable health care, right? Because once you start working on this, then it will develop low cost genomic tools, right? Genetic testing and diagnosis, our own infrastructure will develop. And in future, the things which are very costly right now, but India has entered into it, So it will lead to creation of entire infrastructure, and things will come down to the affordable price, and a common man would also be able to get the benefit, and that is called personal genomics. Personal genomics, where your genetics can be studied if you want to go for it. And then what is bioeconomy and research? So it will position India in that way, like USA is there in genomics, one of the leading country. China is doing very good in genomics. Now India, when it started this genomic project, India will also be, looked upon as a leader in genomics, right? It will also, give a lot of boost to bioeconomy, and it will also give input to Indian researchers and global researchers as well. So all these points that you can keep in handy. Okay. So now you have understanding of this. Okay, I have one question to all of you. So there is a question, question. So now we know about GIP, and the question that I want to ask, that recently, just in last year, just in last 6 months, one of the Indian state has started genome project dedicated for tribal population, and this is first of its own kind. So which state has started a genome project targeting the tribal population so that they can understand a particular type of disease which is there in that tribe only? So you have to give the answer, right? And if you have reached to this part of the video, then please go to the comment section, write the answer, that which state and which disease they want to know about. Okay. So that is one question open to you. And if you want to add more topics into this series, then you can also comment. So take care. Bye bye.